The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Saban Entertainment, and Subaraya Productions. Hello everybody, and welcome to Fan Reviews.
Episode 1.
Yes, we are doing this as a thing mostly for our patrons, but this will end up becoming...
This will go on YouTube first.
Yes.
The first episode will, just to kind of give you a taste of what you could be getting as a pledge.
And this will mostly just end up being something for our Patreons later on. Of course, this will end up coming out public, but it's not going to be for quite some time. Every episode from here on out.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we asked you guys to tell us what you thought of the... What was it?
Tokumei Sentai Go-Busters.
Tokumei Sentai Go-Busters. And we have gotten all the comments. We have picked some of our favorites, because mainly a lot of them repeat. So, Jacob's got them all right here. Let's see what everybody thinks.
Well, let's start with Neo X-Gray 87. Tokumei Sentai Go-Busters, not among my favorite Sentai series, but it was just okay for me. I only liked Enter in the first half of the show, but I wasn't feeling the sudden change in the show's tone as soon as we got to the second half of Go-Busters. Loved the first part of the Space Sheriff Gavin crossover episode of the team-up movie with the Go-Kaigers, but not much of a fan of the second half of the series.
Which is absolutely fair.
It seems to be actually a lot of people feel that way.
I do like bits of Enter in the second half.
Yeah, he was creepy in the second half.
But I can definitely understand that. I also like Escape.
What about Escape?
She was hot.
She was. Moving on.
Moving on with Patty Murphy. I like the idea of Go-Busters being a tribute of Power Rangers because, love it or hate it, Power Rangers is a major reason why Sentai is so popular outside of Japan. And I can't be the only person that saw those suits and thought of RPA.
Really, the only thing that's a tribute, and this is the thing, a lot of people love to say that Go-Busters is a tribute to Power Rangers. It's really not.
It's only two things it has in common. The Morphers say it's Morphin Time.
Yeah.
And the mechs are called Megazords.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
That's about it.
Which, there's a difference between a tribute and an Easter egg kind of thing.
Yeah.
So...
And that's mostly what both of those things are. Yeah, they happen basically every episode, but they're much more Easter eggs than actual just tributes.
But I do kind of understand where he's coming from when he says I saw these suits and thought RPM, to a degree. He says, so I kind of get where he's going with that. Wasn't this originally going to be like a sequel to RPM before they decided to skip it?
That might have just been a rumor. There were a lot of rumors surrounding Go-Busters when they first came out. It might have been a sequel to that. It might have been a sequel to Lost Galaxy. But yeah, we don't really know.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. Next.
Black Cat 2. I'm currently finishing up Go-Busters and like it in general. It has a lot of problems though. The first half is so boring, but literally mid-season it just switches and becomes great. It's honestly the second half that saves the series. I think it's around the time Escape arrives in the story.
Wow,
I like this comment because it's a complete opposite of what we said earlier.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely fine.
You know, I don't exactly blame you for that. There were a lot of things that were boring, especially because, as you said, the main three just aren't that interesting.
Yeah.
Mostly the best thing about the first half was the fights. Like, they had amazing fight choreography in the show. And that really did a lot of things that just made it just that much more interesting to watch, at least for the fighting portion of it. But having Hiromu and Yellow Buster, just both, two of them were the thing that really brought it down a little bit.
Especially Yellow Buster.
In terms of characterization. Blue was okay, but then, Jin and Jay came in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Guardian of the Forest. Which actually could make it a sequel to Lost Galaxy. You never know. Next we have the Chai Mug, who says, the Go-Busters movie was my intro to Sentai, so I do have some bias towards Go-Busters as a show, but I love it anyway. I can see the problems with it, but I don't care. Which is totally fair.
Which is absolutely fair.
If you enjoy it, that's fine. As I said, we enjoy things about this show.
Love the suits, love the fights.
Love the villains.
Love the villain. Yeah. Hate the mech. 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 Can't say enough. I hate the goddamn
Ace
mech.
is fine. The rest of it, when they combine it.
That's one thing I didn't like about Die Rangers, though. Die Rangers did do it better. I don't like it when the Red's mech can be a Zord by himself and take care of itself. It makes the other two seem pointless in Go-Busters.
Metro Gygus would disagree. He says, Go-Busters tickled my fancy with a peacock feather. I liked the suits, the mechs, and thoroughly enjoyed Enter and Escape.
That is oddly specific. Why just a peacock feather?
Why not? Peacock feathers are pretty.
Fair enough, but that was just okay. But Enter and Escape.
I like that comment.
Enter and Escape are great. So, especially Enter when he tries to put Red in a coma.
Freaking R.I.P. And then Enter was like, what do you mean R.I.P.? You mean rest and sleep? And then
You mean R.I.S.?
Who's next?
Daniel Cloud.
Oh, Lord.
Go-Busters is my favorite Super Sentai. I love the characters, special effects, choreography, music, costumes, themes, etc. I like how early episodes regularly had the main characters taking off sunglasses and casually throwing them away.
it's true.
It's so true.
Their sunglass budget was like high.
That's where all the money went. I love the fact that the show wasn't blatantly trying to sell toys. Its toys didn't sell. That probably would be why. The three main characters' superpowers, speed, strength, and jumping were great, along with their respective weaknesses.
She's Luigi. I'm sorry.
Chickens, overheating, and lack of snacks.
To be
Neither of which were overplayed. It had good humor and good drama, with a real sense of gravity and seriousness, with some of the events preceding and during the show. The costumes actually look like costumes that real people could wear. The gadgets and weapons make sense and are actually useful. Combat is a great mix of gunplay, swordplay, and martial arts / brawling. The villains, especially Enter, are extremely entertaining, demonstrating both comical villainy antics and legitimate cruelty. The metavirus thing, being able to turn random everyday objects into monsters, was such a simple but effective idea, and I always had fun seeing what they do with it next.
First of all, damn. That was a lot.
He likes the show.
you know what? I'm actually really sure of this. Go-Busters sold better than... Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it actually sold better than the Ninja, and I know it sold better than Zoolander.
I'm not surprised by that one at all.
Are you talking about toy sales or ratings?
toy sales.
Toy sales.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you've seen the Zooger Max. I wouldn't buy it.
Fair enough.
I agree with him on things, and I disagree with him on things as well. I think the mechs were stupid. I thought in terms of when they combined, there was way too much blue. It was just... And don't even get me started when they got the line in there. Oh my god! But
I thought the blue was fine.
I just when it's a team mech.
He prefers red.
Well, I don't mind blue. It's my second favorite color. But when it's a team aspect, you want a balance of colors. I felt like it was just too much, and I also just don't. I don't like the powers in terms of their weaknesses because they just seem gimmicky. Except for blue, red and yellow's weaknesses just seem kind of gimmicky for a laugh.
No, Yellow's weakness I think makes sense.
Yeah, she has to use up a lot of energy to jump that high.
So she needs to eat.
Reds doesn't make any sense.
Reds is the one that nobody likes
because it's not connected to his
except
powers.
for some people.
He just got traumatized by a chicken when he was younger.
Yeah,
that's it.
But I do love the villains. The story is a bit lacking in my opinion because the entire plot is about their parents, and then that gets resolved halfway through.
That gets resolved in the Christmas episode.
So I just felt like there was wasted potential there. But other than that, I can absolutely understand why you would like the show so much after reading what your comments said. And good for you, man. Good on you. Who's next?
Next we have...
Anybody else who wrote a novel?
Well, yeah. There's a couple.
Yay.
I enjoyed novellas.
Next is from Elijah Hall, who says, Go-Busters, thumbs up 100.
Go-Busters 100.
Sorry. You know Jeremy Johns? Have you been watching his Tales from the Comments videos?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can just imagine one of us doing that. Go-Busters, thumbs up 100 in the hoodie and shit. I can absolutely imagine one of us doing that.
No, sure. Maybe next time. But I like that comment. It was short.
After the last
And I should have said this in the beginning. I'm sorry if I mispronounce anybody's names.
And also we're going to say this in the beginning, even though we already have. We're not reading everybody's. Good God.
No, we said we picked them out.
We thin them out, yeah. But we're not reading everybody's.
But at the same time, thank you all. We did read them all, and thank you all for submitting.
Yes, thank you all for submitting. We did read them all, but we're not going to read them all. But we do apologize for that, but we thank you so much.
Let's pick another one.
Yes.
We can't talk about Go-Busters without talking about our old friend, Hammermeister1999. He says, you guys already know how I feel about Go-Busters, lol. I mean, it's my favorite Sentai bar none. It was so good, and I missed it so much, cryy face emoji. I mean, like, seriously, I love it more than is probably healthy. And he goes on to talk about the Power Rangers fanfiction he is currently writing, which is an adaptation of Go-Busters. It is currently on fanfiction.net. And
skipping the rest of this.
Everyone who wants to go check it out can.
Next one.
Good for you, Hammermeister.
Next, we have Gabor Vig. Go-Busters was an okay season, but the main reason it didn't sell well. Work on your spelling, people. Didn't sell well was because it was right after Gokaiger, the fan favorite. It was almost like Goseiger after Shinkenger put everyone's expectations so high and everyone wound up disappointed. It wasn't good enough in comparison to Shinkenger. Go-Busters had good fight scenes, the acting was okay, the villains were memorable, except Messiah, who was forgotten shortly after his defeat at the half point of the season. It just wasn't placed well. If Kyoryuger or Tokuger would have come out after Gokaiger, and then came Go-Busters, it would have been a bigger success, in my opinion.
You know, I'm going to agree with that.
Yeah, that's actually a very valid point.
That's very accurate. That's the main thing that killed Go-Busters. It came after Gokaiger. That was the main thing that killed it. Like, yeah, we did end up getting... You know what? We should end up making another list at some point just to, top something or other first appearances. Because their first appearance when they fought Bosco in the Gokaiger Goblin movie was great. Red just shows up and then Bosco just looks to the left or right of him and is yellow and
How about top 10 Red Ranger handoffs in Sentai?
Maybe.
Because the Gokaiger to Go-Buster one is always my favorite.
Yeah, they're just short.
But still. It would be a short, easy video.
I don't want to do it. But yeah, that was the main thing that killed it. Like, Go-Busters was a fine show, but it's just like everybody was just coming off of that high. And that sort of, if they would have put Tokuuser or something right after it, especially because they were coming off of the collectible gimmick. Although that could be why they were constantly selling keys still. They were constantly selling keys for the next couple of years after this. And then they just stopped. So, yeah, like with Zoojer. So, yeah, that could end up being why they were coming off of a collectible gimmick and they still wanted to use the previous one to sell constantly more keys and keys and keys. Yeah.
Keys on keys on keys on keys.
All the locks belong to us.
Next comment.
Another one of our longtime viewers, Triple Aces 555. Tokumei Sentai Go-Busters was a pretty good show. It's a show that has some epic moments and great character development moments, and it was refreshing seeing Sentai not doing only colored visors again, but leather suits as well.
That's a good point. They hadn't done colored visors since. Nope. It was actually a long time since they did it prior to this show. Because they always end up having a black visor.
Yep.
And this year is the first time that we've gotten that in a while, too.
Since Go-Busters,
yeah.
for
sure. Because everything else has had a black visor.
Goes on to say, the show tries to give its core team some motivation based on their past, and I love it for that. Where the show fails is that despite being a spy theme, we didn't get that much spy elements.
That is so accurate!
For instance, I wanted to see more undercover investigation and more breaking in facilities, kind of like James Bond or Mission Impossible. I like it when the theme of the show is relevant to the motif of the show, like Gokaiger fighting privateers, Bokenger being on archaeological missions, Decker Ranger fighting space criminals, etc., etc. I also think that the humor was boring at times, like it didn't captivate me all the time except for Jay standing in front of Gene. Jay was always funny.
He was consistently funny.
That was gold, and Hiromu being paralyzed by seeing a chicken, it's so ridiculously stupid that it intentionally made me laugh. It's also a series where the Christmas episode is executed really well and relevant to the canon plot. Yes.
I'm going to bring it back to that spy bit. I remember one of the episodes, I think it was when Yoko got captured, and it was Hiromu and Ryuji having to break into, I believe it was like an auditorium or a theater where she was at, and they had to dress... They had to dress Hiromu up as Enter. And it was honestly one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. But it was just, that was like one of the last things that they really did with like a spy team, with them having to break in somewhere. After a little while, it just became really militaristic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really miss the spy team, what they could have done more. Because they did a lot more prior to the change halfway through the show. Yeah, that was a really good comment. I completely forgot about that. And that just shows how more they should have done it.
Yeah. Next.
Well, on a little bit more of the negative side of things, we have Media Man 18. Go-Busters wasn't awful, but it really suffered from badly choreographed fights.
Wrong.
Little, in his opinion...
nope. That's just objectively incorrect.
In his opinion, that's what he thought. Little in terms of character development, ugly mecha designs, and
Yes.
the annoyance of the buddy roids, and a slow, boring, unengaging story that leaves the viewers asking for anything of substance to work with. It was a chore to sit through for me, which is what makes Kyoryuger a better series in my opinion. You might agree on that. At least Daigo had a personality and isn't an idiotic scene-stealing a-hole. That I completely disagree with.
Even I have to disagree with that. He's kind of a scene-stealing a-hole.
Unlike, say, Wright from Tokucast, Takaharu, or Lucky.
Is that where it ends? Or?
Yeah, that's where it ends.
Okay. I agree with almost everything you say, except for the fight scenes and for this, that King is not a scene-stealing a-hole. He kind of is.
That's pretty much his whole character, is being a scene-stealing a-hole.
But you gotta remember, those fight scenes were amazing. I don't know what you're trying
to
watch
watch our top 10 Sentai fights.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly you're comparing it to, but this was choreographed extremely well. And that's just coming off, watching some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that they've done. Especially, I just watched one of the videos where they did a behind the scenes of, the main guy who does all the stunt work and everything for most of the Kamen Riders. He did the one for Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was an interesting video. The reason why he didn't use his hands a lot because of the rings. He didn't want to have them break.
Fair.
So, but yeah, it's just like, you gotta really go back and get that choreography. I still love the scene of Hiromu fighting the gun roid in the hallway.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Him tossing the blade back. And I love that scene. It's so good.
And versus Dark Red Buster.
Yeah. Oh. That's somebody, even the Cotton Candy Monster thing. Where, he was doing it and Ryuji, spun the blade and turned it on at the same time and just killed him with it. What? I can't wait till we watch that show again, just so I can freak out over the fights.
Who's next?
Last one comes from Sanspada.
Oh, my Jeebus.
Well, coincidentally, I'm just about done with Go-Busters myself. I found the first half of the show to be really great, though you can tell that they were really trying to be more story-focused show rather than a character-driven one. It set up a lot of great mysteries and stakes as the end goal of the series, with a great villain and enter to keep the show rolling through the boring parts. What really killed the show for me was definitely rushing the finale into the mid-season. I didn't like the show that much post-second OP. Especially considering that it started with a god-awful Gavin crossover.
Yeah.
Ugh. The mysteries and character arcs that the characters had, like Yoko's mom or Hiromu's parents, were just thrown out the wayside to almost never be mentioned again, despite being huge character-building moments. I also didn't like how Enter lost his charm and playful nature, becoming much more serious in the second half.
That's the one thing I really enjoyed about the second half.
Character-wise, they aren't really anything to write home about, though I do like the core team during the early half. Felt really competent. They're a team that I really can trust my life with, and I feel safe knowing that they're the ones protecting me. Though Jay and Gene definitely made the show for me, they have the best chemistry in the entire cast and chew the hell out of every scene they're in. Very true. Music-wise, the first OP was definitely boss, agreed. Even the show agrees, considering how they use that one for grand moments in the second half, too, and I love the flamenco theme that Beat and Stagbuster had, very unique.
That last fight when they're playing the first theme, gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And God, do I love the suits. They're probably up there with the best in my opinion, and I am severely pissed that Power Rangers skipped on such an awesome design.
I would just love to see what they would have done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We made a Toku talk about it. The Zords themselves are great individually. Not a fan of the Megazord, but I do like how each Zord has its own uses to spice things up.
They did spend a lot more time split in this one. Because,
Yeah.
a lot of the times it's just like, Moose, we end up showing, Gokaiger especially, we're going to have having this at the very beginning, that we're just going to speed to always end up having just the Megazord. But in this one, just like, we're going to have everything used. They use blue a lot in solo fights too, not just red, not just the whole Megazord. Even Tatakami Lyo later on. But yeah, it's just, this one did Megazords, even though we hate the combination, they did it very well on keeping everything separate and actually having that be a recurring thing.
And then they sold them all separate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Batteries not included.
At all. But
They never are.
But those were our favorite comments that we got in regards to what you guys thought of Go-Busters. Thank you so much, everybody who commented. The next episode of this will be a Patreon exclusive. So if you want to see or if you want to have your thoughts heard on the next show, we want to hear what you guys think of.
You have to become a patron for $1.
Knew he was going to do it.
So what show are they talking about next?
Next, you all are doing Kamen Rider Decade.
This ought to be good. So go join the Patreon. Where should they just post it? Or no, we're going to post this on Patreon too. Comment on this video on our Patreon about your thoughts on Decade so we can collect those for the episode 2. What?
No, just the way you phrase that. Comment on this video on YouTube and on Patreon, and we'll compile everything and throw it into the next
I didn't know
episode.
we were going to use YouTube comments too.
Of course. That gives you more incentive.
True.
But yeah, this is fun. I'm enjoying this.
This is fun. It's a lot less work for us.
True. It's very true.
That's not the point of this show. Just a joke, I swear. Bye, everybody.
Bye.